A Little Shake in the Empire, January 29, 2025. Let me sit down and tell you this, because the way this whole thing played out had me laughing so hard I almost needed a neck brace, and trust me, that doesn't happen often since half the nonsense in politics usually just irritates me beyond words. But today's saga was something else. Something so loud and ridiculous, you could hear it echo across the whole country, even with the windows shut. So picture this. The Supreme Court delivers a hit right to the ego of the orange tyrant, and the sound of him tripping over his own delusions could probably be heard from space. Because my God, does he love pretending the world exists inside his personal snow globe of imaginary victories and fantasy rulings that only happen in his head. And let me tell you, the meltdown energy was thick in the air, the kind of energy you feel in a room when someone's lie finally runs out of gas and the truth strolls in like it owns the place. The orange tyrant really thought the universe was going to bend itself like a cheap spoon just because he demanded it. And then suddenly, reality slapped him in the face the way life slaps people who insist on living in denial for too long. When the Supreme Court pushed back, it wasn't a gentle nudge, it was a full-on shove like, "Move, you're blocking the damn hallway." And honestly, I don't think anyone outside his circle of professional ass-kissers was surprised, because how many times can someone expect to sprint through consequences like they're made of holograms? Now here's the funny part, because while everyone else was out here trying to understand the ruling, the orange tyrant was probably pacing around like someone stole his last cookie, yelling into rooms where no one asked him anything. Seeing betrayal everywhere instead of seeing himself for the constitutional disaster he's been from day one. The Supreme Court basically said, "Sit down, you've done enough damage." And I swear you could almost feel the ripple of shock traveling through Magaland, like they just saw their hero tripping over his own shoelaces again. Except this time it was on national display, and the fall was louder, heavier, and honestly overdue. And the way his supporters reacted, Lord help them, because these people were out here acting like the Constitution was supposed to be some kind of personal customer service hotline for the orange tyrant, like he could just call in and ask for special treatment, and the court would respond with, "Yes, sir, right away, sir." Imagine that level of delusion in broad daylight. It's exhausting, it's tragic, it's comedy, it's all three, and that's why I'm tired but entertained at the same time. So I'm sitting here thinking about how every time accountability even asterisk glances asterisk in his direction, he acts like the world is ending, the oceans are boiling, and the moon is falling out of the sky, when in reality the only thing happening is someone telling him no for the first time in a while. And this man handles rejection like a toddler with a God complex. And let's be honest, that's exactly why this ruling hit him so hard, because he's used to people bending, backing up, bowing, or tripping over themselves to defend whatever nonsense he spits out. And suddenly here comes the Supreme Court like not today. And I bet the silence in that moment tasted like pure humiliation. You should have seen the MAGA meltdown. It was like watching a soap opera with terrible actors who don't realize the camera is still rolling. They were out here yelling about injustice, while ignoring the actual injustice that has been shoved down this country's throat for years. They swear up and down that he's being targeted unfairly. Meanwhile, the rest of us are sitting here recognizing that he's finally being treated like a normal citizen instead of a spoiled mascot with immunity. The irony is thick enough to spread on toast. And don't get me started on the way the orange tyrant tried to spin it afterward, acting like the decision wasn't a direct hit to his ego, pretending he was still winning, still conquering, still in control. When in reality, he looked like someone clinging to the last inch of a sinking ship while the orchestra already packed up and left. It was embarrassing, it was chaotic, and it was absolutely predictable. But let's not pretend the Supreme Court suddenly turned into angels with halos. They still have their issues, but at least this one time they didn't trip over themselves to give him what he wanted. And trust me, even that tiny moment of backbone was enough to send shockwaves through every corner of MAGA Fantasyland, where they swear the orange tyrant is some kind of chosen warrior instead of a man who can't even keep his story straight for 24 hours. So yeah, the ruling was a blow, a big one, and it exposed the cracks in the empire he's been trying to rebuild like a Lego tower held together with bubblegum and denial. Watching those cracks widen was like watching karma with a front row seat, sipping coffee and whispering, finally. This whole saga reminded everyone that no matter how loud he yells, how hard he stomps, how many conspiracies he invents when he's bored, the law doesn't revolve around him. The country doesn't revolve around him, and the rest of us do not have to pretend he's untouchable just because he says so. The decision didn't just hit his campaign. It hit the delusion that he could waltz through this country unchecked forever. MAGA, please note, I was not talking to you and I do not need permission to speak up. And God, do I fearlessly speak my mind. I just want to thank you all. Like, share, feel free to comment and follow to stay connected. I love and appreciate you all. I am Santiago del Carmen Maria, the Queen of Crowning Thoughts, because I say it like it is. Copyright 2025, independent writer, Crowning Thoughts truth speaker, AI video content creator, writer, blogger, Santiago DC. Maria. All rights reserved.